Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is part 3, the last part in the series, looking at Squid Game, the symbolism, mysticism, and deeper meaning. Full spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the game, now's the time to stop this video, watch it, and get back with us. So the following video is only my opinion. It's based on the Netflix series called Squid Game. This 3-part video series seeks to explore the deeper layers of meaning, like the numerology, the symbology in the series, and like any good art, it's open to myriad interpretations. Mine is no better or more correct than yours, so let's talk about Squid Game. We left off with the VIPs and their masks telling the front man how much they enjoyed this version of Squid Games. They said the contest in Korea has been the best, which implies that these contests are going on elsewhere with the VIPs in other countries. We see the following masks represented: a buffalo, a lion, a deer, an eagle, and a tiger. And the host who doesn't attend in this series is represented by the great horned owl. And if you know, that is commonly associated with Moloch. In Korea, the owl is the omen of death, which is quite apt here. In the VIP scene, the servers have what looks to be almost like a black squid if it was minimalized attached to their faces. And the VIPs have no mercy. They're laughing it up and they're saying things like, "Show mercy to the miserable," while they're making fun of the players and suggest dropping them a hint to get them going. In one particularly poignant scene, the man who also had his wife playing and had one time played against his wife in marbles, he tries to reason with the rest of the players to quit the game again via majority vote, but they decline. And he screams out to them to imagine what it would be like if you just killed the person closest to you because of the money. And this is an omen. In episode 8, entitled Front Man, there are 3 survivors, and I'll butcher the pronunciation here. It's Kang, Shong, and Cho. And they're shown having a last meal at a triangular table on black and white tiles in a circle. Guys, this is nothing but occult symbolism 101. The triangle table represents the Trinity. It represents stability. It's an equilateral triangle. That means all sides are equal. And the triangle is the most stable symbol in the universe. The black and white tiles represent the duality of good and evil, yin and yang. The circle is the earth with its duality, and the triangle is the game operating over it. This is Masonic symbolism, plain and simple. And while they're showing you the symbolism, you're getting a bird's eye view of it. Think about that. Now you see it from the player's view. You've got the table, equilateral triangle, black and white floor represents the duality of good and evil, yin and yang, black and white. Everything on the table is equally balanced. There's not one item that's not equally balanced on this table. And this is the part that I might lose some people, but that's okay. This is just a furthering of what I just told you. If you use recursive deduction on the number of his assigned artificial number, 218, I think I said this in the first episode, but that's okay. We'll go over it again. 218 comes out to 2 in recursive deduction. This means wisdom. And you have to think, this player has played this game wisely, has he not? Next, recursive deduction. Player 067. You add it up. It adds up to 13 to get it to 1 digit. 1 plus 3 equals 4. Her number is 4. 4 represents mercy in this same system. Does it start to make sense now? And finally, our main character is player 456. Again, this is his artificially given number. If you do recursive deduction, it adds up to 6. And what does 6 represent but beauty? It's the harmonizing and the holding opposing energies and having compassion. If this isn't this fellow's number, I don't know what number he would be, right? And I realize this is an equilateral triangle, but I'm putting the players' numbers up here. 2, 4, and 6, right? And if you're looking at this and you know it's a triangle, which number is going to win? 6 is going to win because it's the one that's divisible by 3. I realize that the numerology discussion is tricky for some folks, but they can easily, most of the time, understand the blatant symbology of the triangle and the circle and the black and the white duality. Well, the numerology stuff is just simply higher learnings of that same thinking. Let's skip on over to the last meal. I think this, again, is pretty obvious. They're served rare meat and red wine. And if you're religious, you're probably going to immediately go, oh, it's the body and it's the blood. But let's not get biblical, right? It's like these players are receiving the host. And if you don't want to think of it in religious terms, perhaps you could think of it in just more human terms. They're eating flesh and they're eating blood. Red wine is usually symbolic of some kind of blood. And know that the player, Sang, who does not partake of the host, is the next one to lose. Meanwhile, the front man finally locates the escaped infiltrator, who we know to be the cop, and we kind of liken this to the viewer. The cop asks, "Who are you?" And the brother, the front man, is revealed by taking off his mask only to his brother. So the people behind him doesn't see his face, but his brother sees his face. The cop has located his brother, and his brother is fronting this horrible game. "Come with me," the brother asks with an outstretched hand, and the cop is like the viewer. Why the heck would we play this game? When the cop shakes his head no, in the negative, he's shot in the shoulder and falls into the ocean. And in my opinion, he's not dead. He's only got a flesh wound, and he probably is going to live for the second season. The table is removed, leaving only the circular black and white tiles. The veil has fallen from the eyes of the players, and they can clearly see on the walls that the hints for all the games were there the entire time. Xiang talks to Kong about wanting to be a proper father after paying off his debts, and she tells him about her little brother in the children's home, and she exacts a promise from him to look after her little brother if he wins the Squid Game. Unknown to the other two players, she had been wounded in the glass bridge challenge, which I found to be very hokey, by the way, that she was wounded in that way. And Cho takes it upon himself to put her out of her misery, and this results in a knife fight between the last two players. But of course, since there's one last challenge and one last game to play, the management breaks up the fight. And in order to beat the symbolism over your head, there's a coin toss. And what's a coin? It's circular. It has two sides. And what does the main character choose? He chooses the triangle, which is the best choice. The triangle is the most stable symbol in the universe, and he also chooses the offense. So before they begin, there's a coin toss. He chooses the triangle. He chooses offense. And we're also told that this game is the most physical and violent of all the games. Of course, the VIPs are watching, and they're asking, is any kind of violence allowed? And the answer is sure, there are no restrictions. We're told that this is a game that they used to play in school. And if you think about it, this scene that's coming up is the bookend to the first scene of the whole series of children playing Squid Game. We're also told good rain knows the best time to fall. This is God's mercy. The way the VIPs react to the rain makes you think that they didn't know that was coming. So this again is organic, as rain is. The rain begins. The rain is an important symbol for Chong's story. Remember the umbrella symbolism, and the rain goes in his favor. Just like water did, he used saliva to win the honeycomb game. So it begins to rain during the Squid Game. And like any epic battle, it goes back and forth. And Chong, the main character, is winning. The game is over, the VIPs think, but he tries to use the third clause in the game, the one where they can both voluntarily quit, so that they could end this madness. Because this is like two friends fighting to the death. But Cho sacrifices himself. He says, quote, "When we were kids, We'd play just like this, but no one calls us anymore. This will be similar to the final words of the host, Ilnam. Let's go home. The hand reaching out in this scene, or the hand movement, it's also akin to a famous art piece that I'll insert here. Let's give a nod to Michelangelo. And the last thing he does tell his opponent is he would like his mother taken care of. He says, my mom, my mom, my mom. So the main character wins all the billions of won. The front man, unmasked in the limo with the main character blindfolded, tells him that, quote, you people are the horses at the racetrack. Just think of it as a dream. I'm going to talk about my gripes with the last episode. Americans like satisfying endings, so most folks that are complaining online that I've seen about the last episode are Americans, and I'm just saying, because we're used to that. We like that in our story arcs. And when the main characters dropped in the rain back in the city, there's a religious man chanting on the street, believe in Jesus or go to hell. You foolish people who deny the Lord, repent. And the sign that he carries and he drops on the ground, it drops right by the main character's head, reads, believe in Jesus. So, I mean, for folks not to see that there is some kind of a religious undertone, it's baffling. The religious proselytizer is also the person who removes the main character's blindfold. The main character goes home. He's got a debit card with all his winnings on it. And the PIN number, not ironically, is 046, his artificial number. And he goes home to find his diabetic mother is now passed away. And what does he do? He falls into a deep depression. And the main character is not spending his money. After the speech he listened to in the limo from the front man about the players being horses to the VIPs, I mean, maybe his mindset was thinking, I'm not your plaything, and I'll prove it by not spending the winnings. However, this is where I have gripes with this episode. He leaves his promises unfulfilled for 1 year. The promises he made to get her little brother out of the orphanage, and Cho Sang-woo's mother, she's still slaving at her fish market stall, and he had promised to help them both, and he waits a solid year. And my quibble is this: why not fulfill the obligations to those you promised first, and then go ahead and have your existential breakdown? Find Kang's brother and take care of him. Give Sang-woo's mother her share of the winnings. I mean, he doesn't even tell the mother that his friend's dead. I mean, it's clear that he is not hero material and was not transformed into a hero. He's still like a child that wants to take the ball and go home. And he's not going to spend that blood money. It's fine if he doesn't want to spend it on himself, but I personally think he should have honored those other obligations first. And because he has not been spending that money, and it's a lot of money, the bank asks to see him, and he's not getting interest on that large amount. The bank representative refers to him as a VIP, which understandably ruffles his feathers and gives him bad vibes. And he stands up and he asks the bank officer to borrow 10,000 won. He goes off to ruminate some more along a riverbank, and along comes a woman who asks him to buy her flowers, which he does out of kindness. But it's another offer from the game. This time the card says from your Gambu, and he knows this is Ilnam because Ilnam was the Gambu who was supposed to be dead. So he goes to the location listed on the card only to find Ilnam alive but on his deathbed. Just to hit the symbolism home again, Ilnam asks him for water. We know water is important in this game. Ilnam wants to play one last game. There's a drunk fellow outside in the snow, and Ilnam bets that no one will help this poor fellow. He speaks with him with such disdain, by the way, that no one will help this poor drunk fellow before 12. And in order to get the information from Ilnam, the main character accepts the bet, and his very soul is on the line for this. Ilnam reveals that he's the host, that he makes his money by lending it. He admits he has a tumor, And he says that having money is boring in the end and that he just wanted to have some fun. As mercy would have it, a bystander does help the poor drunk man outside, and Il-nam dies before the clock's bells toll 12. The main character says, "You lost." His soul is safe, and once he leaves the room, the front man closes the eyes of Il-nam. Seemingly the great horned owl mask is retired. We don't know if the front man is now going to be the host himself if he moves up a level. The main character saves someone he sees being recruited into the game on the way to see his daughter. He finally gets around to making good on his promises, and he just cannot resist the urge to go back into the game for whatever reason, which makes us know that there's going to be a second season. And these are the reasons I think there's going to be a second season. First, because the main character goes back into the game. He gets that card from the guy that was getting recruited, and he contacts the game, and he doesn't play the hero. The hero probably would have gone to see his daughter like he was on his way to do, but instead he decides to renege on that and go back into the game. Maybe he's going to be a bigger hero and save a whole bunch of people in the next round of the game. We don't know. Second reason I think that there's going to be a second season is the cop only got a flesh wound when he fell into the sea, so I don't think he's dead. The third reason is now that Il-nam has succumbed to his brain tumor, the front man may rise to the next level of host. The fourth reason I think we might have a second season is the cop had gotten information out of the VIP, everything that he knew about the game, and he had allegedly sent it off to his headquarters. So we don't know if those videos and those screenshots and that information had any hidden truths or how far that got disseminated. Also, there's some unresolved issues that the game never clears up, like why are the soldiers, the square heads, the circle heads, even the triangle heads, why are they there? What is the inducement for them to play this game, to make it run while living miserable little lives in little jail cells and being constantly monitored? And the risk of being taken out if someone sees their face. So, that needs to be cleared up. That wasn't cleared up. And if this is truly just about capitalism, this show has been wildly, wildly successful all over the globe. So, of course, they're going to have a second season. That's kind of a no-brainer, right? I'm going to wrap it up here. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry for the quality of the video, and I'm talking very loud because it's been raining very hard here. I guess the rain is also working with me as I try to do this game. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I want to know what you think about this game. Did you even see any kind of religious significance? Did you see any higher significance? Do you think it's simply about capitalism? What do you think? I really am interested in what you think, and I think all opinions are valid. So anyway, if you like this video, please hit the like, please hit that subscribe bell, and without further ado, have an excellent day.